Erick and Elizabeth served in pastoral ministry for nearly 25 years when they sensed God's calling to plant churches overseas. With 4 of their 5 children, they moved to Central Asia, built relationships, and showed the Jesus film hundreds of times in their home. It was wonderful to see so many lives being transformed by the Lord. But then something happened to them that radically changed their lives and their story.
We had been broken into many times before, and typically in that part of the world, if they want the money, they come when you're not home.
We were attacked in our home 4 a.m. one morning by men dressed in black running suits, black hoods with hatchets.
We did experience some of the darker side of humanity.
We were beaten in our beds. Elizabeth was beaten more severely than I was.
At that moment, when we were actually being beaten, the young woman who was staying with us, who was in the room next to us, she thought it was a prayer meeting because all she could hear was us crying out to the Lord. And that was the only response that you could have in that situation, just to cry out to the Lord. Every blow.
We were both airlifted out, and she was unable to return actually to our country for a full year.
That year following, while we were in the midst of recovery, both with counseling and physical therapy, surgery, whatever, there was such a sweetness in our fellowship with the Lord and fellowship with the saints, a sense of privilege, really. And I think it's always encouraging. I think obedience is contagious. I think disobedience is also contagious. But obedience is contagious. And I think that's part of the inspiration we gain when we read the stories of the saints of the past. We're encouraged. We catch what they had. And I always wondered, what would I do if I was in a situation that was testing my faith? Would I have what it took to stand? And in a sense, it was wonderful to see that we all have what we need to stand because we have Christ. It's the power of the Holy Spirit that sustains us. We don't have it in ourselves, we have it in Him. We needed to go back. And I told Erick in the hospital, I said, honey, with friends there, because I didn't ever want anyone to think that Erick sort of co-opted the situation and forced my hand.
I went back as quickly as I could to send the message that we weren't going to cut and run as soon as difficulty came. We were involved in building young believers and young churches, and we felt like this was really an opportunity from the Lord to say that to them.
Prior to that experience, I would go and speak to women's groups, and I could always tell that they were taking a massive discount off of everything that I said to them, maybe 80%, because I was the rich American woman who really didn't understand their lives. And to some degree, they were right. And every family there has a story of hardship and difficulty. So when they saw us walk through that hardship, they assumed that we would never come back. And when we came back, they knew that we understood them. They had seen also the choice that we made to come back.
We were given grace to walk through some difficult things, and that strengthens our confidence that God always gives grace. But it also strengthened the confidence of the believers in us to be encouraged by God giving us that grace, that He could give them that grace too.
After that, I would go and speak to women's groups, and no more discount. I had 100% of their attention. So really that experience of being beaten, of suffering, was in fact an equipping, I would say, on the order of the doctorate that Erick had received in the U.S. This was maybe our doctorate for working in Central Asia.